Today we're going to be working on cleaning my carburetor, dual carb system for my 1998 Seadoo GTX. It's got the 951cc two-stroke engine. The reason I'm doing this is because I recently had a bout with the gray fuel lines that are notorious on this jet ski. It basically plugged up my fuel filter and then just went on down the chain and plugged up one of my jets in this. So that's the other thing I'll be doing, is I'll be swapping out fuel lines. But I just wanted to clean this out, make sure it's all good, and then throw it back in there and do the fuel lines. My original plan with this video was to video me taking it out of the ski. But I quickly realized that it was just going to be impossible, because you can't get a camera in there and then it's too dark. It is kind of a pain. A lot of it you're doing kind of blind, but the only special tool that I needed was to chop up a Harbor Freight Allen wrench. There's a spot in there where you need a shorter bit here. And then I actually ended up using this piece too on that same bolt to finish tweaking it out. But other than that, it's just you got to undo the fuel line and the oil pump line from around this wheel here. You're doing it blind because this is on the back side from where you're looking. I think it's going to be a lot harder to put in than it was to take out. But other than that, the back bolts were actually the easier two to get to, and the front bolts were the ones that I actually needed some special tooling for. The first thing you're going to want to do, and I already started doing it, was starting to pull all the fuel lines off of this. These are the gray tempo lines that everyone complains about, because if you look in here, I'm not sure if it'll focus in on it, but you can see the green goo that the fuel turns these into. So you want to get rid of all those. And then I got these little guys. I've already cut most of these off, and that's what I would recommend, especially the ones with the plastic tees and stuff. Just cut them, because you don't want to have to be replacing that guy if you accidentally break it. And it's easier to pull it off once you get it out first. So mainly just go through, get all the fuel lines out. There's another guy on this side. I've already loosened all the stuff, so it should just come right out now. Basically our goal right now is to just separate the two carburetors. There's the synchronizer arm, just synchronizes the two sides here. That will just pop right off. The synchronizer arm should just pop right off. Leverage underneath it like that. And I would keep this on because I don't know if you accidentally get these mixed up, if that would make a difference, but I'm just going to play it safe and leave that. I'm basically aiming for this carb right now. Just take this one off for now, but there's two recessed screws here. Might be easier just to pop the little O-ring off first, just to get the screws. So this whole carb should come right off now. Just be careful, because there's going to be a gasket right here. I don't have a rebuild kit for this, so I'm going to try and save everything. But you can just set that off to the side now. And we're going to focus on this guy. I'm going to reference these as the magneto carb and the PTO takeoff, power takeoff carb. This is the magneto. It's got the wheel for the oil pump and the throttle cable. That's the forward carburetor on the ski. The PTO stands for power takeoff. That's on the back side, so closest to the jet pump. So we're going to be starting on the magneto side first. First off, just take that gasket out. Just get all the loose stuff out first. We'll start by opening this guy up. can see there's a little diaphragm here. You just want to make sure this is all, it's all in good shape, and it appears to be. And then you're gonna have a little gasket here. If you're rebuilding this, all that diaphragm, the O-ring, all the gaskets, they'll be in that kit. And then right here, should be able to just take this whole thing off here. There's another diaphragm here. Gasket, I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like it's a little gasket. So we'll be taking that off and cleaning up underneath there. And then here's where it's interesting on mine. You can see all the corrosion. I'm not actually, I think that's corrosion, but there's all sorts of goop in here. And this is going to be a little fuel filter. And this is what these gray tempo lines will do. I'm not sure how well the camera will see this, but if you hold this guy up to the light, it's almost completely plugged through with that green slime. And you can see it's actually just, if I tap it, it just comes right out there. So we're gonna, the rebuild kit that you might have will have this, a new one of these, I'm sure. But I'm gonna try and salvage all of this, like I said. Basically, you're just gonna clean out all this, take this little O-ring gasket thing out, and just clean up everything in here. I'm just using a Berryman's carb cleaner. You might want to use a throttle bottle cleaner, throttle body cleaner if you're worried about it eating the plastics, but it should be sufficient. You can kind of see that filter is much cleaner. You can basically see through it now. That's what we want. Going back to this, it had the clear plastic on it. We'll clean that up. But if you take this little gasket off, be super careful, because it's super thin. But you can see all this green goo. That's what those fuel lines do. So I'll clean that up. Just make sure that little diaphragm there is in good shape. It does look like it is on both sides here. Go ahead and put this together again. I cleaned everything off. Just trying to line up our bolt holes here. Oops, this way. O-ring back in. And clean this guy all out. Okay, so now that we finished with the fuel pump side of the carburetor, we'll flip it over and we'll go open up where the jets are and see how she looks underneath there. Oh boy. Yeah, this one's pretty bad. You see all the yummy gook in there. That doesn't look very good at all. So that's going to be taking a lot of cleaning. I'll clean that out real quick and then get back. Okay, so I've gone and cleaned all that nasty gook out. This piece basically was the cap for this. It has this gasket in here. I would ideally like to replace this one. It doesn't look super hot, Basically this little ring, outside ring, fits in that groove right there. You can see it's definitely worn, but because I don't have a carb rebuild kit and I have a deadline I need to get this thing out on the water by, I'm probably unfortunately gonna have to end up reusing this one. But from here I'm gonna start. We've got a little spring here, we've got a couple screws here. We're just gonna start taking some of this stuff apart just to see how much of that goop got in there. That doesn't look so bad in there. You can see there's a replaceable gasket there, and then you've got a couple jets in there that we'll take a peek at. But you want to take this guy out, and you want to be careful because this is kind of a spring lever assembly here, and if you're not careful you'll lose your parts. So kind of just be careful with this. The screw holds the whole lever in. And slowly lift that guy out of there. And you can clean all in there. I'll probably end up popping this jet out here, cleaning that guy. And then, ooh, don't lose that. And I'm probably just gonna clean that off a little bit and try and keep it assembled if I can. But I will, let's see, I'll pop this guy out here. Oh, and here's that other spring. I'll probably just leave that in there for now. That's the spring for that lever. This should just fall out like that. You can see that needs a little bit of cleaning on it. And then hopefully this jet will come out. Try and do this without galling anything up if possible. Yeah, this thing is just packed. You can kind of see that. But look at the jet. It's got all sorts of goop in it. The O-rings, replaceable. So I'll get all this out of here and clean it up, and then I'll start up again. So that's all cleaned out now. I'll get these other two jets out. I popped them loose already just because the camera's in the way. Just with the small flathead. Just gonna pop them out, clean them, make sure the seat is clean. Actually looks pretty good there. I won't even really do anything with this one. It's clear. I'll just put it right back in there. Obviously if it's scooped up, clean it up, but oops. And then the same goes for this guy. Yep, this one looks pretty crystal clear. I might give the jet a shot of carb cleaner. Looks good. It was a little plugged up. But from here on, we'll just reassemble and move on. The complete cleaning of the magneto side carburetor. I'm gonna do the power takeoff carb too, the PTO carb. I'm not gonna video it unless it's significantly different, but it's the exact same carburetor. It's just in a different alignment. So unless there's anything significantly different, you're gonna do the exact same thing you did with this one to the other one, and then I'll be replacing the fuel lines and attaching it back to its harness. So one thing that's different on the PTO side, you'll notice, because it's getting its fuel from the magneto side, it doesn't have the diaphragm, the fuel accelerator diaphragm and parts that the other one had on this side. So, but that's just because it gets its fuel already from the other carburetor. Another difference with the PTO side is it's got this guy right here. It's just the synchronizer. It's got these springs and an extra screw here, and then the fuel line. And like I said before, it's just easier, since I'm replacing these, it's easier just to cut these things off so you don't break anything. And then go ahead and undo this guy. Just be careful, don't lose the springs. Just like that. And it's got a little bushing there too. So I'm not gonna dick around with that too much. That's mainly just so I can access this guy. So I'll go ahead and remove the hose. Okay, so I got these 4 screws off, the hose off. It doesn't look like we'll have to hit these 4 here, but just be careful as you take this guy off. I'm literally just gonna set it right down. I don't want to mess with. Actually, it's pretty stable. There's the arm. You shouldn't have to disassemble that anymore. It's just a mechanical thing. I'll take that off, clean it off just like the other one. And just like the other one, this one's pretty jam-packed full of goop. Not quite as bad as the other one, but I'll do quite a bit of cleaning on that one too. That's it.